Well, Mark, an important run of games coming up, no doubt about it. And with Lincoln at the weekend, a really good platform to work from.
Yeah, it was a good result for us on Saturday, a big one as well. And I think sometimes when they come around in the manner that it did, it can even feel bigger. The game was probably heading for 0-0 in the end, and to be able to snatch the game late on, we had some good chances in the second half. Actually, I thought we carried a good threat, and in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game, I thought we were good as well. And then lost away in the first half. I thought Lincoln got really good control of the game, made the pitch massive for us, and we turned the ball over a bit too quickly, didn't get our defensive structure and shape right, and were desperate for half time to come around really, and that enabled us to fix one or two things. But we certainly relied on Dimmy making a couple of excellent saves and defenders making some really good blocks to keep us in the game. But once you get to half time in a game like that and you're in it, you give yourself a great chance, because if you can overcome what 20 minutes of the first half felt like, you can sort of overcome anything, and you hope it's not going to be as bad in the second half. So I was really pleased with our response and performance in the second half. I was really pleased with the way in which we kept trying to chase the game and force the issue, and it turns into a really good 3 points at the end of an excellent week for us.
Yeah, to have put in all of that energy, because both with the games against Newcastle and Portsmouth, not only the matches themselves, but particularly with Newcastle, everything surrounding it, to go right until the very last minute of the game on Saturday, really impressive.
Yeah, and you can't get away from that really. That the Newcastle game was very different. The few days after that was something that a lot of the players aren't used to, and even yesterday felt a very different Sunday to the previous Sunday. So hopefully that just allows us to get back on track now. But I think there's a real test of your character and mentality as a team after a big day like that. It can very easily turn into after the Lord Mayor's show. Well, we didn't allow that to be the case. Players were outstanding, really. Focus and mentality very good, and come out of it with 2 really good results and progression in every competition. So that's vital for us, and sets us up now for 2 home games this week that we need to go and perform well in as well.
Yeah, you must have been pleased that once again you switched the defence around, with George being ill and with Sam Sherring coming in for his debut. And I know before we've spoken about how you feel having that clear structure and system at the back allows you to make those changes. But the number of times it's happened over the past couple of seasons where you've made a late change, but the defence has still had the same look about it.
Yeah, we had to do quite a little bit of work on, particularly really on video with Sam at the back end of last week, to try and give him a real indication of how we play and what we wanted from him. And we thought it was a sensible decision to play him at centre half and Gibbs at right back, albeit, of the opposition you play against, where you don't really want George Williams, your most experienced fullback or right back option, out. They're very, very strong down their left-hand side. And that causes a few issues in the first half, but Gibbs coped and managed to grow into the game. And it's the second time he played at fullback for us. We kept clean sheets in both games, one at Morecambe and one there. And Sam also a really solid debut. I thought he was good with the ball. He made some good defensive blocks and found his way into the game nicely. So a good start for him and something for him to build on.
A little bit different with the Doncaster game, in that you've gone into most games of late, I suppose arguably most games this season, with a bit of an underdog feel about you. With tomorrow's game, clearly that turns around a bit.
No, I don't buy it. I don't think we're ever anything other than underdog. And if we start thinking we are, we're in trouble. We are new boys at the level, trying to show we can remain here and sustain our position here and win games. We played Doncaster early in the season and saw what a tough game that was. It was 1-1 on that day. Understand their position at the moment, but since the change of manager, I've watched their last few games, and they rode Wigan really close at the weekend. They've had some tough games, and they're right in the games. Of course, there's an underbelly maybe of a lack of confidence in their team. If things aren't going well, we have to try and capitalise on that. And it might mean that there'll be spells in the game where we have a bit more of the possession. Who knows? We certainly found our way in that sense in the first half on Saturday at Lincoln. We had quite a bit of the ball in the first half, certainly in the deeper part of the pitch, and it's how well we use that. But the mindset for us is underdog all year, because if we start thinking we're anything other than that, we'll trip ourselves up. So yeah, for us, exactly the same message as always: get your job done, focus, work harder than the opposition, and show we're competitive enough to come out with results.
Yeah, I suppose to rephrase that slightly, you just go into every game wanting to be yourself, don't you? That's the important thing, to be Cambridge United.
Yeah, and I think we've shown that a number of games, and certainly some of the games we've played recently. But we know with the games that we've got coming up, there's a run of games where points are going to be important for us. But in the end, they're always going to be driven by our performances. So we've got to look after that first and make sure it does look like us. First half didn't look so much like us on Saturday. Second half did. And that's what we've got to carry on from now for tomorrow night.
Earlier on in the season, when we saw Doncaster, they had a lot of the ball. They clearly wanted to play an expansive, flowing style. Are they still trying to do that now, even though they're at the bottom of the table?
I think they're probably a cross between two things, really. They've got players in the team that are very good in that area. Ethan Galbraith, Matt Smith, midfield players, a number of options. They've signed Kieran Agard. They've got Omar Bogle back in and around the team as a forward option. Dodo's been causing big problems, and they've probably had a little bit more of direct play in them in recent games. But they've got players that can handle the ball, and they're probably a mixture between those two things. So I think we have to be ready for everything. They talk about being a team that can counter-attack, talk about being a team that make themselves compact. There are a threat on set plays. They've done well on attacking set plays. So I think every team in this league carries their own threats. Every team in this league got players that are good players at this level, and we have to be ready for all of those things and probably make sure that everything we do as a team that we do well. We have to turn up and do that tomorrow.
At this stage, is it still unclear as to where George Williams will be at for this one?
It is, yeah. We'll see how he is this morning and whether he's with us and what shape he's in. So we'll have to make a late call on that. And we'll leave that one as late as possible. He's important for us. So we'll see how he goes. Other than that, off the back of Saturday, everybody came through that well.
Cool. That's great for me.
Hi, Mark. Just on the injury front, how's Jensen getting along when you say he's not too far away?
Yeah, Jensen will train with the whole group this morning for the first time. We had Super Sunday yesterday. It was just me and him at the training ground, putting on a little session to get him back in and around things. So he's done well in the last couple of weeks with Mikey and Matt, and he had a session yesterday. So he's training with the rest of the team today. If he comes through that all okay, he should be involved tomorrow.
Yeah, can I ask a little bit about that? How is that something that you would normally do to work on a Sunday and bring in any players that are perhaps injured? I just wondered about the preparation between Saturday and Tuesday games, if you wouldn't mind talking a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday's a pretty standard day off for us. I think that's important that people know that the structure and the routine is what it is. It doesn't change regardless of the result on a Saturday. We're not into emotional responses and erratic behaviour here, really. So players know where they stand and they know what they can plan for away from football. I think that's really important. But certainly there's elements of Sunday that are a working day. So Barry Core will do all the set play analysis on the Sunday for the next game on the Tuesday. Martin Davies will do all the opposition goalkeeper analysis and analyse Dimmy's clips from the Saturday to go through on the Monday. Gary Waddock does individual player clips for certain players on the games. So he'll be working on a Sunday morning, watching our game back to report that back to the players on the Monday. And myself and Ben Small are always working, doing the opposition analysis, ready for the game plan and preparing our player meeting for the Monday. So yeah, Sunday's a working day for me always, and for the majority of the other staff, it is a few hours, obviously, getting all that sort of prep stuff done, because it's too late to try and do it on Monday morning. So yeah, that is a working day in that sense. And then in the situation where we have a player whose availability for a Tuesday will hinge on Sunday being a working day or not, then it will become a working day if it gets that player ready. If it's a long-term injury for somebody, we won't have them in on a Sunday, because it can be quite monotonous and mundane sitting in the gym every single day of your life. So we have to give them some time away from it, and obviously give the staff a bit of a break as well.
With the next two games against Doncaster and Crewe at home, how good an opportunity do these two represent to move even further away from the bottom four?
Well, home form's been good. We're playing well. We've had some good results of late, and some competitive games. We've obviously played both of these sides and drawn against them. I think with the Crewe game, poor first half, excellent second half, and with the Doncaster game, excellent first half, and couldn't quite keep them at bay. Galbraith scored the goal. Nibsy's hit the crossbar in the 90th minute, I think, from a brilliant header. So we came close in that game, but both games were competitive games. I think that's what you see. I can't speak for those teams. I know we're a better team now than we were when we played them. We have to show that this week and try and take as many points from the week as we can, because we know it's important. It won't be pivotal to anything, but it will add to what we're trying to achieve.
And as we stand at the minute, are you able to outline what your plans are for the remainder of the transfer window?
Just see what happens over the next couple of weeks. If we can do anything that makes us stronger, then we will. But as I've said many times before, I'm a big fan of the players and the group that we've got here, and I'm in no rush to go and add and change things for the sake of it.
No worries. Just finally on Kai Mackenzie-Lyle, is there any further update that needs giving on that, or are we still at the stage?
No, not really. Just still injured and rehabbing, so he's a few weeks away really. So yeah, I don't have a real specific update or time frame on that, but he's working with the physio at the moment.
Yeah, it's fine. No worries. Thanks, Mark.